India is gonna roast Australia. Make some noise! Yes, I'm repping India, but I have this accent. Let's just deal with it and move on. All right. So yeah, I do feel a little bit bad roasting Australia, as Danish alluded to earlier. Because obviously climate change got there first. Like, how do you roast a country that's already in ashes? It's kind of a tough task. No, but I did have second thoughts about doing it, but then I remembered every obnoxious, drunken Australian. Sorry, that's redundant. Every Australian I've ever met. And I was like, fuck it, let's do this! But we do have to address the tragic situation that's happening over there. It's really bad. Like, so much wildlife has been lost, a huge amount. It's really sad. But luckily, relatively few humans have lost their lives. But you really start to understand the scale of the tragedy when you realize that the wildlife has a higher intelligence than the average Australian. It's bad. It's a bad situation. But incidentally, Australian bushfire just also happens to be what men call the burning sensation they get when they have sex with Harry's mom. So, weird coincidence. The Australian dollar is a worthless currency. Like, it's just useless. Did you know that Australians can't even exchange Aussie dollars for other currencies at the bank? Not because the bank won't exchange them, they will, but because you have to wear a shirt and shoes to go into the bank. That's how they get you, Aussies. Sneaky. Australia has achieved one really impressive feat. They're the only nation that makes Kiwis seem cultured and refined by comparison. In order to prep for this battle, I did a little research. I watched this documentary about Australia on Netflix. It was really interesting, really eye-opening. I learned a lot about Australian society and economics, like how there's these rival gangs of roving car and bike gangs that are battling for control of the gasoline supply of the nation, and how members of one of the gangs spray silver paint on their faces and scream, "Witness me!" It's really interesting. It's called Fury Road. I don't know if you've seen that documentary. But my sincere best wishes to Prime Minister Furiosa. I'm really pulling for her. All right, not movie fans in this audience. That's okay. That's okay. But Australians they have their own brand of English, kind of, and they love to use the C word all the time. Like, just all the time. They just casually throw it into, like, everyday conversation. Like, it's no big deal. Like at the Sydney airport. Are you here for business or pleasure, you fucking cunt? At a job interview. What makes you think you're the right cunt for this position? At a wedding. Do you take this shithead to be a lawfully wedded cunt? It's like, it could mean a lot of things. It's not just negative, it could be neutral, it could even be positive, like, oh, you're a fucking funny cunt. That's a compliment in Australia. Here, I'll demonstrate the difference between positive usage and negative usage. Cunt. Cunt. There you go. The word cunt in Australia can mean anything. It's kind of like the word smurf is for Smurfs. It's multifaceted. And like the word smurf, it's also the word that's used to describe the people. So, speaking of Aussie English, a lot of people sometimes associate the phrase, throw another shrimp on the barbie, with Australia. But that's actually inaccurate, as you know, I'm sure, Harry, some of you might know. An Australian would never say that, because Australians don't say shrimp. What an Australian would say is, throw another prawn on the still burning corpse of that wallaby. Contemporary Australian English. Contemporary. Australians have a reputation around the world for being boorish, poorly behaved, racist, and for being obnoxious tourists when they travel. Basically, Australians are the Chinese people of white people. The difference being that in China, the people eat dogs, but in Australia, the dingoes eat babies. But yeah, there are a lot of unique wildlife in Australia. There's a really weird species of animal native to Australia. It's very weird looking. It looks like it's been patched together from parts of different animals that don't really go together, and it can be dangerous. That's right, the bogan. If you don't know what a bogan is, a bogan is an Australian redneck, but they're like the uber redneck. Like, you think your country has rednecks, the bogan puts your rednecks to shame. Like, an Australian bogan would take a look at your rednecks or your chavs or whatever, and they'd be like, that's not a meth pipe. This is a meth pipe. But Australia is well known for having lots of deadly and poisonous creatures there, crocodiles, venomous snakes, the funnel web spider, and deadliest of all, sex with Harry's mom. That's my time, thank you.
India! Roasting Australia! Oh man, you guys were for that. I'm proud of you. For the rebuttal, Australia roasting India! Make some noise for Harry! Guys. Wow, that Fury Road joke was about as popular as a gay pride parade in India. India is a progressive, modern society. Sorry. Too hard to say with a straight face. India is a progressive, modern society that celebrates marriage equality. Their Indians can marry any child they want. As long as it's arranged, of course. I mean, you can't have, you can't be marrying kids willy-nilly, That'd be crazy. Of course, as you know, kids and women aren't treated all that well in India. But cows are, which makes sense. Yeah, cows are the sacred animal of India, and they, therefore they must be made love to, not raped. India has actually given the world a lot of culture. For example, the number 0 was invented in India. Still in use today. Often by 38-year-old Indian men describing their sexual experience. Let's face it, India hasn't done a lot for sex since the Kama Sutra. I mean, have you seen Indian porn? It's not good. Like, it shouldn't be on regular porn sites. It should be on LiveLeak. I watched this one. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called The Seduction of the Papadum Vendor. And it's just this one Indian dude staring at a woman for an hour. It's like, it's not sexy at all. But the good news is that they're actually going to add 10 new positions to the Kama Sutra. Yeah, which is, and the groundbreaking thing for Indians is like all of these new positions are going to be consensual. Oh, come on. Thanks. Yeah. A lot of religions have come from India. Hinduism, for example, and Hinduism's great. Like there are so many like gods with very unique appearances. Like for example, the god Vishnu has 4 arms. You know, 1 for pickpocketing, 1 for masturbating, and 2 for giving middle fingers to anyone that asks it to take a shower. Well, Vishnu's the god of customer service, you know. Mainly because it can service 4 guys at the one time. Reincarnation is an idea that only Indians could think of, really. I mean, the idea that, you know, you dream of coming back as a dog or a cat or an insect, like, it doesn't have to be human, just as long as it's not Indian. And by the way, don't feel bad for him. Do not feel bad for him. He's not even Indian. He's American Indian. Except the difference being, like, he kind of would deserve the smallpox in the blankets. No, that's offensive. You can't call Native Americans Indians, right? You know, because Native Americans aren't gross people who would try to raise a family of 8 in the back of an unair-conditioned taxi. As for Vinay, he was raised in the US, but he has stayed true to his cultural roots. You know, for example, tonight he came here on the outside of the train. All right, thanks, guys.
Harry Metcalf, everybody. Australia roasting India. Woo! Woo! It's hotter than Mumbai in here. Holy shit!